Hey, I am a Revision Geek and I want you to come and join my Revision Geek world. Welcome to the Diaries of a Revision Geek. I cannot wait for you to watch these interviews. They are so super fun. I've got qualified accountants together talking about their revision journeys, the highs, the lows, the struggles, and all the things in between about how other people got their plaque up on the wall and how they got qualified. I've picked qualified accountants in my LinkedIn network on purpose to help and support you guys, to inspire and motivate you if you are on your accounting journey. Feel free to like and subscribe below for more. Just click on the icons and I will keep you up to date with the Diaries of a Revision Geek. Let's get started. In today's interview, we have James Wright. He is ACCA qualified, and you may recognise him from his ACCA YouTube channel. In today's journey, James talks about how he had a tricky work-life and study balance, trying to balance everything while he was still working in practice. And we also talk about how he sees failure as a positive, how it helped him in the long run, and how it helped him become an overall smarter, amazing accountant. Enjoy the Revision Geek interview. Let me know what you think. I'm very excited about today's interview. We have the YouTube famous James with us today. Welcome to our revision world. Please introduce yourself, James, if people haven't heard from you.
Well, Helen, thank you very much for that introduction. But I'm going to have to, we'll have to come back off famous on here. I'm a chap who puts on videos and just tries to help people out. But lovely to meet anyone who's never watched any of my videos or connected with me on LinkedIn before. My name's James, and thank you very much, Helen, for having me on today, and looking forward to answering any questions you've got and helping you out on your ACCA journey.
So yeah, tell me what you're qualified in and when you qualified.
Well, I know I'm going to show my age now here, but I am ACCA qualified, and I qualified back in 2017, I think it was now. So approaching my FCCA, which is just, where's the last 5 years gone? It's been quite a journey since qualifying as well. As ever, there have been the ups and there have been the downs, and then the real downs as well. So, you know, plenty to sort of share. I mean, I'm quite open and transparent on my channel, as you know, so happy to help anyone out today with any questions they've got, or if they leave any in the comments of this video.
Great. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Like I've said for most of my interviews on this series, Diaries of a Revision Geek, I don't actually know many people's revision journey on purpose. So I don't know anything about James. I know a lot about his qualified journey since he's been qualified, but his ACCA journey, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to this interview and we'll drill deep on a few things. So, so James, talk me through from the start, from when you first started your ACCA, and talk me through the highs and the lows of your journey.
Oh my word. Oh my word. Well, for the viewers, so they're aware, this is the first time Helen and I have actually had a proper chit chat, even discussed any of these sort of things. But just to give viewers some context, I went to university. I did an accounting and finance degree, and then after my degree I went out to America, where I did a summer internship through Camp America. So the whole sort of film, sort of, you know, working on a summer camp. I worked in the business office, which is a bit different. And then after I completed that, did a bit of traveling as well. I came back to the UK, and then I thought, right, I've done my accounting degree. I was really interested in it when I was in America, got a bit of exposure to their sort of standards, and I was looking for a training contract, really, where, for those of you who aren't aware, it's where you go and work for an employer, you gain the necessary experience, and they fund and look after you through your ACCA, ACA, CIMA journey, whichever qualification you do on there. So it's a sort of win-win for both parties on there. So that's meant that I applied for a few places, and then got into a small practice in Lincoln, and small firm, 25 to 30 employees on there, just working through the exams. I did get a few exemptions as well, which I always get questions about. How do you do them, James, and all this sort of stuff. So if anyone's got any questions on that, pick them in the comments below.
I might ask you some of those.
Yeah, shoot, I still get them every day now, so it's all right. And then going through it, it was the case of working full time, learning a new role. And I wasn't in a role of just say you do management accounts or you just do maybe speaking with the clients or whatever. It was the financial accounts, doing all the working papers, taxation, working with a variety of different managers as well, and then also trying out different things. So I actually got put in charge of the marketing and a bit of the communications and web development of the business as well, which is really interesting. So I learned tons of stuff. But then also on top of that, you've then got to go home in the evening. I also, for transparency, had to go to college on the weekends as well, and also had to do some classes in the evening after work. So a massive balancing act on there. To which I'm quite open on my channel to say that I passed some exams, which is, well done me, awesome stuff, as we all get the results on our phone. But I'm also quite transparent to say I failed to. So when you're working for someone
Me too, yeah.
fail to, it's a tricky one when you turn up to work on the Monday and you go, oh, how did you get on, James? How should I tell you this?
Yeah.
But it's a marathon, not a sprint, as ever. And eventually got there, got qualified, got all my experience, and then qualified, and then went into lecturing after that. Went on to do my master's, ACCA Leaders of Tomorrow program, businesses, advisory, and it just goes on and on and on. So there you go. Rock and roll, Helen. I hope that's all right for you.
That's the short bit. We're going to go a bit into some detail now. I'm going to ask.
That's all right.
But so talk me through the evenings and weekends, because I did this as well. I went to BPP for my classroom courses, and I qualified 10 years ago. So when we did it, there was a lot less tuition providers than there was in 2021, 2022, in my opinion. And so I did have to use a lot of my evenings and a lot of my weekends for that. So how did you find that work-life study balance?
Oh, it was completely easy, Helen. Very, very easy. I mean, I don't know, that's it. Obviously not. Very, very tricky. I'll be honest with you. Very, very tricky. It's a shock to the system as well, especially if you've gone from being a student or from working a role like I did to then going, right, you've got the usual sort of, let's call it 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then other commitments on top of it. But then it's the other variables as well as to, well, I had to travel in the mornings and get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday mornings, an hour's train into college, full day at college as well. And then you've got some assessments that you need to do. And a really key thing just to be aware of is something called the money back guarantee that you have with some providers, where you have to make sure you submit all your mock papers, complete all the work to send into the tutors, so that if you were to fail and you have to go back to your employer about it, then you've got it all checked off and you won't get charged, the company won't get charged again for it. The worst thing you can do is do the tuition, don't complete all the tick boxes to get the money back. And if things were to go wrong, I can tell you now, it can add up, should we say.
Yeah. So thank you for being so open and transparent. Like, I talk about my journey a lot, and I failed loads of my CIMA exams before I got my plaque, for sure. Yeah. And it is embarrassing. I say this with hindsight now. Look, it is embarrassing to tell my boss, where my colleagues were passing around me as well, that I failed. Oh no, I failed another one, because I was, like I said, I had a really great senior finance job and I was getting promoted really well, but wasn't passing my exams. So there was a missing link somewhere.
Yeah, you just got to be just open on it, because once you get it off your chest, that's one of the first things to coming back stronger to pass it. But I always talk about it as well, that, and I must add that the failing of the exams actually made me better in the long run and to understand the concept. So yes, I mean, I've passed the odd exam with 50, 51 or so, but the ones that I resat, I was getting 60s odd, and I still apply that knowledge now, and well retained as well. And it just makes you a better person, more resilient, and you remember it was more earned, I think, as well. So, try and see the positive in it.
And there is loads of positives for learning these things properly, or understanding them and not just learning them for this exam, will make you a step up as a smarter accountant in the long run, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's not just being an accountant, because obviously we've got just, hey, look, there's the goal of becoming qualified ACCA, ACA, CIMA, whatever. But then it's also the personal development and your own personal journey and the skills and the ethoses and all the different things that make you who you are. That's the thing, where you don't give up. You always keep trying, all the rest of it. And these are the other robust skills, that it's not just since you get qualified, it's not just, oh, you get qualified and that's the end. The growth and the progression afterwards is continuous. That's the thing. And that's what I tend to find with lots of people who are qualified, that they're always looking for the next challenge, or how can they develop more, or to spur themselves on into something else.
Yeah, I guess most of my listeners right now are still in the depth of qualifying in that ACCA or CIMA journey.
Yeah, but it's then if you have that in your mind, to picture it, that, hey, if I become qualified, I want to set up my own business, I want to go work overseas, I want to create more opportunities for my family or my kids and all these sort of things. And to hear it from someone like myself on there, they go, oh, well, if he can do it, why can't I do it? He's failed exams like I've failed exams and stuff like that. He's worked his way on there, he's worked hard. Right, okay, if I do that, I can do it. Rock and roll.
Yeah, I like having that for other people. So yeah, if you don't think you can do it, you absolutely can do it. We're telling you can. I mean, my CIMA journey took me 6 years. How long did your journey from start to finish take you?
So if you're considering, saying, going to university with the exemptions on there, you've got to call it 6 years, as to you had the 3 years at university and then the 3 years of experience afterwards. I mean, the quickest anyone could do it, and people I've met and connected with, is 3 years. Maybe you're a school leaver, or potentially you've got on a degree apprenticeship, something on those lines. Shortest is 3 years, and then it can range all the way up to about 10, usually on there. But everyone's journey is different. I mean, I haven't got any children. I'm not married or anything like that. I'm not fixed to a particular location. I'm either easier compared to some people. However, I went to college and to classes with people there who had 3 children, that they tell me, James, I've been up at 5:30 this morning to make sure my children are ready, and then I've got to go drop them off at nursery so that I can come to college on the Saturday, and then I'll go pick them up, and then I have to make their dinner and then put them to bed, and then I actually go home and revise 8:30 to 10:30. And you're saying, going, oh wow, okay, I cannot complain at all. Would you like a coffee? It's going to be great to work with you. So
yeah, and that's why I'm interviewing so many different people on this series, just because everyone does have a different revision journey and exam journey, and I don't even want us to really compare each other, or just think, oh, just because James did it that way, I have to do it. I just want to motivate and inspire you guys to realise everyone's exam journey is completely different. And I want you to really be empowered with that. Like, what can we do so that you embrace your own exam journey, and which little tidbits or tactics can you take from us and any of the other interviewees, Revision Geeks, to help you,
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. It says you should never compare yourself to someone else, because everyone's situation is completely different. I mean, what you can say to yourself is, right, can I be 1% better than I was yesterday or last week? How can I progress? I would see it as available time. You have to look at your week ahead and you say to yourself, and this is where a good plan comes into it, because if you plan the day out that you want to have, that's a heck of a lot better than just going on a whim for it. So that's the first thing on there, setting out that plan and saying, right, on Monday, I have got 2.5 hours of available time. Or if I get up first thing in the morning and I have a good night's sleep the night before, maybe I could squeeze in an hour beforehand. And then you start asking yourself questions that, okay, everyone in their day has about 2 to 3 hours of proper focus, okay, proper focus in my eyes. So before we came on here, for transparency, I was doing some marking this morning. First thing, I've got my 2 to 3 hour window. I'm spot on, I'm on it, and I get it done productively. Okay, so you need to work out when you are most productive. Mine was always first thing in the morning. You wake up, you have a coffee, hour and a half to sort of properly wake up, hydrate, and then off you go, 2 to 3 hours, which is enough to get maybe a past paper done or something like that. However, you may actually have someone who is a night owl who just sort of works a lot better in the evenings. But again, you've got to ask yourself that question and fitting it around your commitments and your available time. And once you start doing that, you'll just see your productivity go sky high. And you've also got to get good at saying no to things as well. But we'll go on to that in another bit.
We'll talk about that for sure. So I know this is easy. I think a revision plan is the most important tool ever, number one revision tool. But I know it's quite easy for us to say that now in hindsight, especially for what our businesses are now. But did you know that at the time? So while you were doing your ACCA journey, did you follow that approach? Did you have a plan?
Yeah, I had a plan, and I used to write down everything. If you got, I always recommend that you get one of these big calendars that are all sort of handwritten on there, and I used to write down just on there how many hours of actual revision time used to be on it, along with all my mileage as well that I do with my running. So it's to hold yourself accountable on there. And look, we can't kid ourselves here. I was 21, 22, okay, when I first started studying on there, okay? And if you're 21, 22, all your mates are going out on a Friday, Saturday night, and they want to do things at the weekend, okay? So you've got to get good at balancing it. So if you say to yourself, right, okay, well, if I'm going to go out on the Friday evening for a few drinks, catch up, or if we've got a weekend away planned, then I know that Monday to Friday, I've got to really hit the ground running to get some serious time in. And it's where you feel like, again, you've earned it. It's the key thing on there, because the last thing you want is to go on these outings or to enjoy yourself, because relaxation is part of it. But having that worry in the back of your mind just there going, I should be studying right now. Whereas on the flip side, it would be, oh, you know what? I was up at 6 a.m. to get 2 to 3 hours done for this. So I'm going to enjoy myself now. So used to plan back then, plan even more now. And it works a treat, but you've got to be robust on it. That's the thing, because there are so many distractions. And as you can see in my world, I don't have many distractions. My phone's off, airplane mode, all the rest of it. I don't get any notifications on my phone. It's just little things like that. You just home in, and you just make your life a lot easier.
So talking about those distractions then, because I do think it is, as a listener, if I was listening to this, I know personally, I would be like, oh, it's easy for you. You can, but I would think I can't as easily have less distraction. So was that something that's just built into your personality, or is that something you had to bring in a different way for your ACCA?
Well, it's everyone has distractions. Okay, some people have a bit more than others on there. But you've just got to work out and step back that, hey, okay, I have to accept that I may have to have my phone on if one of my children need to ring me, or if I'm a carer or something like that, okay? Then you accept it on there. And then you say to yourself, right, how can I put this into practice? It's all about friction. That's the key thing. And the more friction you put in the way of these distractions and things that go on, then the better off you're going to be from it. So if you need your phone out, then okay, put it behind you somewhere on vibrate. Okay, so you can't see it because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So you can at least focus in on what you're doing on there. But then coming back to your point as to saying about distractions and getting the balancing act on it, well, you got to think what the end goal is. And every little session that you sit down, whether it's just a half an hour chunk or a big 2 to 3 hour session, it all adds up in your arsenal. That's going to get you to that 50 plus on there. So you've got to know your why as to why you're doing it and stuff like that. So it's the whole package. There's no one sort of, there's no magic bean for it, I'm afraid. That's it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But that leads me into my lovely question. What was your why? Why did you start your, what was your why?
My why for doing my Chartered Accountancy exams at ACCA. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, there we go. Well, first of all, it was one of those where I always was interested in businesses, how they run, and then doing a bit of research online, you actually find that it's not many people with sort of business and management degrees and stuff like that who run businesses. It's entrepreneurs who come up with ideas to solve problems, and it's chartered accountants who are qualified who know about cash flow, profitability, asset allocation, and then you develop other skills on top of that, like leadership, management. And I went, right, so if I want to get into a business or run a business or be involved in that sort of sphere, I've got to know the numbers, because if I don't know the numbers, then I'm at a disadvantage, and I don't want to be at a disadvantage. So yeah, and I like business, I like economics, I like personal finance quite a lot as well, wealth management. So that sort of sphere is what I quite like. And you've got to understand all of the figures, the taxes, a variety of different areas as well, which I know is not the coolest thing to say, Helen, but I quite like it. It's all good.
I know, yeah. I was just thinking, I do talk about my journey quite a lot, and lots of people have seen my picture. I haven't got it here, but me when I'm like 7 years old in my brown suit and a brown briefcase and stuff, because I wanted to be an accountant for a long time. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I didn't have
I'll put the photo here on the video.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. I mean, I didn't have anything brown in my world, but I just always thought I'd quite enjoy it. That's the main thing, and I apply the skills every day now. So that's it.
And yeah, you're right. Like that was definitely one of the things that I saw. It was this professional person, and a lot of managing directors are qualified accountants. I'm like, I wanted to be at the top, I still do. Yeah, and that's one of the, having a finance core is such a good strength for that. And it opens up loads of opportunities, right? And I think I recognise that, especially at the start of my degree as well.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to have a different picture in their mind, or vision, or dream, whatever they want to go and do. And hey, if an accounting qualification fits into that and you can visualize it, then hey, you're gonna. It's all about the price you have to pay. That's the thing about it. So the price you have to pay to get the qualification, to take that next step, to go to the next level on it. It is all about putting the hours, the grind. Honestly, the days when you just don't want to do it, where you're just thinking, you know what, I've been at work all week, I'm knackered, it's Saturday, it's Sunday, other people will post things on Instagram and social media, and you've got to get yourself in the right mindset to go, I'm doing this for me, it's going to help me out long term. And I always used to think about it just saying, look, if I don't do today, I could learn things today that could make me 3 marks in the exam, 2 marks in the exam. Oh, my word. Imagine getting 48, 49. Oh, right. Okay. Now we're going. And it's just all encompassing to balance. Think of it as juggling, I always say. It's just managing all the different balls that you've just got to sort of focus in on it to get the main prize on there. That's, well, just the pass, the certificate, whatever it is for you.
So going back to your journey a little bit, I would love to know a little bit more depth. So talk me through some of the high moments of your journey and some of the low moments. Okay.
Well, I mean, the obvious high is passing the exams, and I think everyone knows who's watching this will go, when you get that text, or if you try and log on to the website and it's down and everything like that. And I've got results when I've been away. I've been, out with mates and stuff like that, where it comes after midnight. It's like, oh, it better be good. It better be good. So those definitely stand out as a high. And I'm going to also add to that, also working with colleagues who are also studying and supporting one another to help them get through as well. Because you sometimes fall into the trap, especially if I can imagine people being in a really competitive office where, you've got someone's them to pass, them to fail. But in actual fact, you're stronger together, working together, and you build up an ethos as to, you come in the morning to work and you're there going, oh, Steve, you all right? How's the studying going? Productive weekend? What are you thinking today? You feeling all right about it? So, you know what? I need a bit more of a spurt going through me because I'm feeling a bit lethargic. We've got all these audits to do today. We've got tax and stuff. Yeah. Well, it's okay. Well, you support one another, go and have a chat, coffee or whatever after work. I don't know. But supporting others, honestly, that will pay dividends for you, because in the modern world, post-COVID now, everyone wants a study buddy, and you can only find them online. So if you can get some at work, even better. Um, the lows where you just think, oh my word, you put in all those hours and you just going, I was used to walk out the exam and sometimes go, right, has it got a chance? Has it got a chance? And every exam I came out of, I thought, it's got a chance. And then when you get one in, like, I can't even remember the exact number, it's in the 30s or something like that, miles off. Shocking. So then turning up to work the next day, well, Monday or whatever it is, and it's a bit of a kick of the teeth. You think, I thought it was all right. But I'm not one to really overhype myself or anything on those. I'm not going to stomp around the office or go like, that was fine, nailed it and sorted that out. So yeah, it's the sort of common ones you'd expect, passing and failing, and then it then builds you into a different person to come back from it. So yeah, for right.
Sure. Oh, thank you for sharing that you got marks in the 30s. I got marks in the 30s as well. I had to have a 50% pass rate, and I did 2 exams once, and I got 36% for both of them. I'm like, oh wow, that is like, you're nowhere near passing, Helen. You're, oh my god, you like messed up both of them. Great. But yeah, you do come back. You do because you have to, and we want to, right? It's made me more of a determined person all round.
You got to understand the reason why you failed. So there are a variety of different reasons why. Every time I failed one, it's because I did 2 at a time and I put too much pressure on myself. And there was just, anyone who's done the advanced taxation paper for tax will know this, that you could drop that book on someone's head and I think you could probably knock them out. It's that big and heavy, okay? And trying to do that along with the equivalent to, say, SBR or SBL now, that is a mammoth task, plus working full-time, plus other commitments on there. So anyone who's doing ACCA here, I always recommend from the strategic papers afterwards, where you've got your options, SBR, SBL, just do one at a time, honestly. Save yourself the sleep. It's so worth it, just one at a time. And everything from developing new revision techniques and hence why I set up the channel, to be honest with you, Helen, because I used to move house. Okay, I'm that sad. I kept all my notes in bags. So each bag had, like, this is the tax bag, this is the audit bag, and everyone says to me, "Oh, James, where'd you get all these notes from?" I'm like, well, these bags used to move houses with me. I always just say, "Oh, I'm going to upload them. I'm going to sort them out into slides one day." And then I eventually got round to it. And you think, no one's going to watch this. No one's interested in this. But those are all the lessons that I learned over the course of my degree and working and studying full time on there. So to condense that down into a small video that helps someone out halfway around the world, that they get a 51 on their paper, not a 48, that's mega in my eyes.
Yeah, no, that is good. Yeah, we'll talk about your YouTube channel in a second. But yeah, thank you for talking through your revision journey. So I'm asking everybody these kind of questions because I think it's the inspirational message that I want to bring is that this plaque is absolutely worth getting, or your version of your ACCA.
I should have brought mine along.
We'll show it off, So question number 1, what opportunities did you think would come from being a qualified accountant?
Oh, okay, that's a very good question on there. So it's the usual. I'm going to refer this just to ACCA. I mean, the others for the other professional bodies, but it's always, it's your passport to working wherever it may be around the world. The doors that'll open for you from it. There'll also be the actual potential pay rise as well from becoming actually qualified. So you should see a step up in there. And also the added opportunities that will come from it, because you should be a bit more sought after, I would say, on there. And you're not in a study contract, all the rest of it on there. And just the sort of pride behind it, I would say, as well, because when I was at university, one of the first guest lectures we had, I remember on day 1, ACCA were there and 2 representatives came in and 2 local practitioners who run their own practice, and 2 of my lecturers at the time were ACCA, and you go, oh my word, this is proper stuff here now. And then you do a bit of research on the website, and you go, oh, wouldn't it be quite that'd be quite cool to be one of those. Would be all right. And obviously that quote of that would be quite cool will not get on the ACCA's website, obviously, but
Yeah.
you know.
That's the reason why, because we're cool now, we're qualified.
Well, I think you're cooler than I am, Helen. It's okay.
Oh, thanks. So, and then now you have been qualified, obviously, for a number of years. What has come for you?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, it's yes, there's always that classic phrase of, oh, it'll always open up doors for you and stuff on those lines. But on platforms like LinkedIn, as you're super proactive on, the amount of people that check out your profile because you're a qualified accountant and other ACCA members or CIMA, ACCA who get in touch with you, baffling from it. That was the first thing on there, that you go from being a student with a few hundred connections, then it just goes woof like that on there. And then I'd also say, and you know, I'm not employed or anything like that from the ACCA, but the proactiveness from their engagement teams since I was qualified, and I went to one of their celebratory new members events down in London, and there was a program down there called the Leaders of Tomorrow program where you get to develop your leadership skills, management skills. I applied on a complete whim. I just said, oh, that sounds pretty cool, and got onto the program. So they're going, oh my word, this is brilliant. So all these other things they have in the background that, you know, you can, if you want to be part of a local network panel or an ethics committee or to be involved with some of their digital stuff. Yes, it's a massive global professional body, but you can actually have an impact, and you're just one person away from being involved with it. There's so many webinars and stuff like that to help people out. So that's definitely another thing. And since COVID as well, the wider connections of people knowing more about other people as well through social media, other different formats as well, and having those letters after your name, people just see it straight away now. And oh yeah, oh well, you're ACCA qualified. I know someone who is trying to do that now or something like that. So yes, it's been staggering, but I mean, we're recording now middle of January 2022, and I can tell you now, we'll look back on this in 5 years and then we'll go, that was another turning point, that start of the year. Yes,
I'm excited about what this year's going to bring for sure. So a question I'm asking everybody, because I love to give revision tips. I'm all about the tips. That's my revision geekness.
All right.
So I'd love to know what your number one revision tip would be for qualifying accountants listening.
Oh, right. So you got an exam, next week, and or next month, whatever it is. What's the main tip? Well, I don't know. You know, first of all, turn up. That'll be a good one. That's it. You've got to turn up. You know, you've got to be there to you know, got to buy the tombola ticket. On a serious note, if you were to say to me, you can literally only do one thing, okay, out of anything out there, I would honestly say is just go through the free resources on whichever professional body website you are part of on there, and for that specific exam, because like for the ACCA, you'll have everything from the computer-based formats on there and the actual platforms to use. You've got all the past papers. You've got actual pieces of work that's written up by academic tutors on there and by ACCA. How to pass these as well. It's all on there, and it just staggers me, Helen, how many people do not use them. It amazes me. I base most of my videos on that credible information on their, like the examiner's report. They tell you where people fail the exams. Yes, you've got to go away, learn the syllabus on there, but it's all broken down for you because they put a syllabus guide on there. So yes, that would be my thing on there, which yes, that would be, it's always my first place to go to.
Yeah, I call that the golden nugget, the examiner's report, the examiner's feedback. And yeah, make some time for it, guys, because you don't want to be that person who didn't know linear programming because everybody else didn't know linear programming. He's told you to know linear programming. I remember that one. So yeah. Thank you so much for being here, James. It was great to interview you and have you as a revision geek for half an hour. Thank you.
That's all right. It's been lovely to chit chat, and thank you for having me on. You know, anyone who's listening, feel free to keep in touch, and get in touch.
Where can people find you, James?
Oh well, I'm quite a hard person to find, Helen. But
online,
if you pop in James Wright ACCA on YouTube, you'll find all of my insights. They're all free on there. Check them out, every single exam. And then I'm also starting to branch out into other things as well. So if you're into finance, into accounting, whichever professional body you're part of, there'll be something on there that will definitely help you out. But thank you very much for having me on today, Helen. Super stuff. Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.